Hey guys, Sylvia here, and today I have a type of video that I haven't done in a while, but is very highly requested. I get asked a lot to do like advice videos about like work and life and adulting, and sometimes I just don't know how to bring all those ideas together into like one cohesive video, but thanks to you guys, I have a video today that's going to talk about things that I had wished I'd known during my first job. I got my job fairly young. I was around 14 years old at the time, I believe, which is crazy that is more than 10 years ago. I am old and that is insane. Because I started off in the workforce so young and I was one of the first out of everyone I knew to get a job, I didn't really know much about anything. Like I didn't know about my rights, I didn't know about any laws, I didn't know about like, workplace manner. I just cared about wanting to get money. If I had known about all those things, I think I would have better set myself up for success and maybe not have made the mistakes that I have even up to this day. So I am partnering up with Workplace Safety and Prevention Services of Ontario to bring you some things that I wish I knew when I had my first job. I've broken it down to 5 tips. The first one being that this is your first job and it's not going to be your last. I know that the process itself of getting a job can be really stressful and anxiety inducing to a lot of people, and sometimes because you don't want to go through all those things again, it actually holds you back from potentially going to get a job that might be better for you or staying at a job that really isn't doing anything for you. Remember that you've gone through the process once and you can do it again and again and again and again, and you're going to be doing it again and again for the rest of your life. Just really don't be afraid to do what's right for you and to look out for yourself, especially this early on in your career. Like, look out for yourself more than anything else. On the same note as looking out for yourself, it's really important for you to know your rights, especially when it comes to something like your safety. I feel like sometimes you're just so excited for your first job, you finally landed it, you've broken through that barrier, that you're just maybe too nervous to bring up any concerns or issues in fear that there might be some sort of repercussion. But over 50% of all incidents that involve young workers happen within the first 6 months of someone's job. And during my 6 months of my first job, employer shall not be named, I actually got locked in a freezer by accident, and it was terrifying. I actually had already known that there were some issues with the lock closure on the freezer, but I didn't want to say anything because I feel like it was happening since the beginning of my job, and I was scared that maybe, someone had already addressed it and like got blown off about it, or perhaps like it wasn't a big deal or management wouldn't care. So I kind of had a workaround where when I opened it, I would hold it with one arm and then like go reach with my other arms the things that I need to get in the freezer, so I still had the door held open. However, this time that I went in, I had to grab some heavy crates at the bottom back of the freezer that would require me to like go in and actually lift it with my 2 hands. So I let it go, went to grab my stuff, came back around, and realized that I couldn't open the door. I was locked inside the freezer because it locked from the outside somehow with that finicky lock. I was so panicked in there because it's really freaking cold in there. My uniform is just a t-shirt, so like I was getting cold. As soon as you walk in there, you're cold. I started to panic. I was like hitting the door, slamming it, yelling. Thankfully, our kitchen itself is quite small, and eventually someone came to the kitchen, walked by, and heard me slamming on the door, so they were able to open it for me. Otherwise, I would be a block of ice right now. But just remember that you have the right to know the hazards in your workplace, and you have the right to participate in creating and maintaining a safe and healthy workplace. And you can refuse unsafe work without penalty. When in doubt, just remember, if you don't know how to do it, don't do it. If you don't know how to use it, don't use it. And if you're ever unsure, ask your manager. This third one is something that I still work on, years and years after, and it's to ask questions and be proactive. The jobs that I got the most out of were the ones where I wasn't scared to ask questions that I genuinely want to know about, like the industry, the growth of the industry, the growth of my career path, all of those things that are so important to bettering you. Those were the times that I learned the most valuable things and things that I could apply to my career in order to bring the trajectory forward. The second part to that is to be proactive so that you are building skills and challenging yourself at work so that you're actually making movements and not just at this like comfortable standstill in your career. This is still something that I practice up to this day. I realize that it's really easy to coast at a job and just, go in, do your day-to-day work and, check in and check out. But if you really want to excel your career, you have to look at the problems or the issues or the missing gaps in the company and apply yourself in doing those things and tackling those issues. If there's something that you want to do to better yourself and better the company, then bring it up. bring it up to your manager, tell them that you have a plan, this is what you plan to achieve, this is what you'd like to do. And with your proactiveness and the guidance of great management, you'll be able to achieve really, really great things, and you'll see a lot of growth in your career. Being proactive also sets you apart from a lot of the other people. Like, a lot of people in companies go in, just do their day-to-day job and check out. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But being proactive will set you apart from others. It'll also help you open up doors and opportunities that others might not have. Number 4 is something I really wish I knew a lot earlier in my career, is to not burn bridges and to always try to keep in touch. I admittedly have been very impulsive in my previous works before, and if something or someone upset me, I did not hold back. I would say what I felt like saying all the time in that heated moment. And while I truly do believe in honesty in a workplace, I think that the way you approach honesty is how you choose whether you want to take the high road or not. So when I was emotional and upset about something, I probably should have just calmed down and then been able to process it later to my manager or a coworker. But instead, I kind of just would blow it up in the moment and then regret the things that I said and did later on. One time, this coworker said some pretty mean and accusatory things to me. I could have taken the higher road by letting that roll off my shoulder and just address it in a more professional manner afterwards, but I really let it get the best of me, and I got really heated, and I just went off. I went off on that girl in a workplace in front of my manager, and you know, it just doesn't leave a very lasting impression to other people in the room, and it pretty much puts you in a position where between you and that person, you may not ever be able to see eye to eye, and they could be someone that you run into in your future career. I have definitely had instances where I left a company with a petty attitude towards some people, only to find out that I did end up crossing paths with them later on in my career, and had to do the whole fake smile and like, hey, oh my gosh, didn't expect to see you here thing. What you have to realize that if you continue to work in the same industry that you've been working in, the industries are very small. As you get older and everyone has connections and a network, everyone just knows each other. So you never know what someone else might be saying about you. It's just best for your own career to not try to burn any bridges. It could even very easily lead to you not being able to get a job in that career because of a bad reference or someone saying something negative. I have seen in many instances, more than once, someone's name come up as a potential hire, and other people have said that they know that person or they've worked with them and that they're not a good person to work with, and then that person's resume goes straight into the trash, not even considered. And also, whether you end off on a good or bad note with anyone, just keep in touch sometimes, because again, it is a small industry and you never know where people end up going and who might be able to help you or give you a favor in the future. That's just something I wish I had done better, because there were a lot of really talented people that I had worked with in my previous jobs, and then after the job I just never really hit them up again. Someone else has gotten a job somewhere and I'm like, oh, they might be a really good connection for me to get into a workplace that I would like to. However, I haven't spoken to them in years, so I feel uncomfortable asking. So if you do work in a specific industry, just, you know, keep in touch. Just a little like on Facebook or a heart on Instagram, whatever it may be, so that there's a little bit of connection there. The last bit of knowledge I want to pass on to you guys is that people really shape your experience at a workplace, and that can be a really, really positive thing, but it can also be a very negative thing. Work is work, career is a career, but at the end of the day, the people that you have to interact with every single day really shape how much you like or dislike a job or your experience there. It's just in human nature. I've had jobs where the work itself is crappy and boring, but the people I work with were amazing, so I loved coming into work every day and doing what I did regardless, because people were just great. And I've also had jobs where I loved what I was doing and the work itself is something I enjoyed doing, but then the people just weren't people who really inspired me or that I really got along with, and I was just miserable going into work every day knowing that like I wouldn't really have that connection to talk to anyone. And I firmly do not believe that your workplace should be a toxic environment for you. I have had a very bad experience with a workplace that is toxic to me, where I would go home very upset every day, and it would affect my personal life too, because I was just so upset all the time. I had then decided that like, no, this is not the way I want to live my everyday life anymore. and we had to address the situation head on. So then I had reached out to my upper management peers to be able to help me navigate that situation. I was able to finally come out with a solution that worked for everyone. And with that just one issue resolved, it took off a lot on other people's shoulders, like many people's shoulders. It's crazy how one bad apple can really affect the whole patch. So just try to address these things head on as much as you can, because having a toxic workplace is one of the worst things you will live through in your life. Don't ever believe that any of it is out of your hands. If you find yourself in a toxic workplace situation, you need to reach out to those who can help you or make the decision for yourself to leave, whatever it may be. It's in your control, so just figure it out and don't feel trapped in a position that you're in. So I hope these tips helped you guys out, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video because a lot of you guys ask for more of this stuff, but I just don't really know how to put it all together. So if you have any ideas, just let me know below. Or if you want to share any of your stories or tips, comment below because I want to hear them and I love talking to you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I will speak to you guys again very shortly. Bye!